Everyone who joins Toastmasters is making a commitment to the club, to its member, and to the organization as a whole. Always keep in mind to prioritize your journey over the outcome. With that, may I now request our Vice President Education, Toastmaster Ayyappa, to confirm if these newly enrolled members have been assigned to their respective mentors. If yes, Ayyappa, please read out their names.
Yes, Varsha, all the new members have been assigned with the mentors. Mentors are, yeah, I'll all the members have been assigned with mentors. I'll tell the names later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Ayyappa, have these newly enrolled members been briefed about the benefits of Toastmasters International?
Yes, we did.
Thank you, Ayyappa. Now I request to be inducted members, Vishal, Pavitra, and Akhilesh, to bring your right hands forward as we proceed towards the oath-taking ceremony. You shall repeat after I read out each promise. Let us begin. As a member of Toastmasters International and the Bangalore Toastmasters Club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly.
I promise to attend club meetings regularly.
To prepare all of my speeches.
To prepare all of my speeches.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
To willingly prepare for.
To willingly prepare for.
And fulfill meeting assignments.
And fulfill meeting assignments.
To provide fellow club members.
To provide fellow club members.
With helpful constructive evaluations.
With helpful constructive evaluations.
To help the club maintain.
To help the club maintain.
Positive friendly environment.
Positive friendly environment.
Necessary for all the members to learn and grow.
Necessary for all the members to learn and grow.
To willingly serve my club as an officer.
To willingly serve my club as an officer.
When called upon to do so.
When called upon to do so.
To treat my fellow club members.
To treat my fellow club members.
And our guests.
And our guests.
With respect and courtesy.
With respect and courtesy.
To bring guests to club meetings.
To bring guests to club meetings.
So they can see the benefits.
So they can see the benefits.
Toastmasters membership offers.
Toastmasters membership offers.
To adhere to the guidelines and rules.
To adhere to the guidelines and rules.
Of all Toastmasters educational.
Of all Toastmasters educational.
And recognition programs.
And recognition programs.
And to maintain honest and highly ethical standards.
To maintain honest and highly ethical standards.
During the conduct of all Toastmaster activities.
During the conduct of all the Toastmaster activities.
You may now release your hands. Dear members, these newly enrolled members have pledged to be full participants with Bangalore Toastmasters. Now may I request the club members of Bangalore Toastmasters to bring your right hands forward as I read out the oath on all your behalf. We, the members of Bangalore Toastmasters Club, pledge to support you in your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive and helpful evaluations, to maintain friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, to make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and a fulfilling experience. Thank you, members. Now, with a thundering round of applause, it's time for us to welcome Toastmaster Pavitra, Toastmaster Akhilesh, and Toastmaster Vishal to the BTMC fraternity and Toastmasters International.
Welcome all new members.
Welcome,
And back to
welcome.
Srijit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Varsha. I welcome all the new members to our BTMC family. And thanks a lot, Varsha, for conducting this induction ceremony flawlessly. Now, today's theme: every beginning has an end, and every end has a new beginning. This theme can be best explained through the metamorphosis of a butterfly. As you all know, there are 4 stages in the life cycle of a butterfly. They are the egg, the caterpillar, the pupa, and the butterfly. When one stage ends, the other begins. And that's how the butterfly finally emerges. Similarly, life is a series of beginnings and endings. The finishing of one inhalation leads to the starting of another exhalation. And just as graduations are called commencements, not terminations. And as my journey as SAA at BTMC comes to an end, there is a new beginning for me, waiting for me in the form of VP Education. With that note, I would like to introduce you to a person who has spearheaded BTMC to a new heights of glory and achievements. During her tenure as president, she made member development her main mission. She remained deeply involved in the smooth conduct of online meetings and to the completion of various projects of speakers. In spite of this, she maintained an amazing connect with an amazing personal connect with all the members. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in inviting Sedulous President Deepika Das.
Thank you, Srijit. The thing I'm going to miss the most from next week onwards is your wonderful, wonderful introduction. Thank you so much for the introductions that you've given me for the past 6 months. Each one has been more amazing than the other. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club, second oldest and one of the largest and finest clubs in the country. I now declare meeting 1223 open. I request our secretary Rahil to kindly present the minutes of the previous meeting.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
So good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The minutes of the meeting number 1221 and 1222 were posted on 26th of January 2020. The best speaker of the meeting number 1221 was Toastmaster Soumya Raman. The best evaluator of meeting number 1221 was Toastmaster Sudeep Kaur. And coming to the meeting number 1222, the best speaker was Toastmaster Rahil Ahmed Sawad, that's me. And the best evaluator was Toastmaster Rita Das. So being the secretary of the club, I had an amazing experience, and I just love the support of the committee and all your members. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be your secretary for the past 6 months. I truly enjoyed the process, and I look forward to serve the club more in other ways. Thank you so much. Over to Deepika.
Thank you so much, Rahil. Does anyone have any amendments or changes to be made to the minutes? Well then, for the last time I say this in my position as president, the minutes stand passed.
Woohoo!
I see a lot of guests present on our meeting today. I would like to extend a hearty welcome to all of you. I see Toastmaster Kathy with us from California. I see Rinku Saha. There are so many guests. I'm sorry I cannot go through each one of your names. Otherwise, I think the next half an hour of our meeting will just go in me introducing all of you. But this is my personal welcome. Thank you for being here with us today, and I hope you'll have a lovely evening and enjoy this session with us. Members, can we all unmute ourselves for 1 second, join our hands together and give our guests a big Bangalore Toastmasters welcome. Thank you so much. As most of you know, or at least the members do know, that I used to be a sports person growing up. Emphasis on the used to be part. I took to swimming at the age of 3. And by the time I had reached the 5th standard, I was taking part competitively. From then on till my 9th standard, I swam 6 days a week, 50 weeks in a year. 50 and not 52 because I would take 1 week off during my final exams and 1 week off during Christmas. I loved the water and the water loved me in return. Those 5 years, I represented Karnataka in swimming, diving, and triathlon, winning medal after medal at the state and the national level every year, until disaster struck. I used to train at Alsur swimming pool, and that pool being a pool that was owned by the government, it was mandatory that the pool was open to public every morning and evening before we began our practice. Now, one fateful morning, it was a Saturday, I very, very clearly remember. And it was the 7 a.m. batch that was open for public. One man snuck past the lifeguard on duty. He removed all the barricades that were placed there and climbed up onto the highest diving board, which was 10 meters high, and jumped from there. He hit the water with a loud splash, and he never came up again. It was later also found out that there were high levels of alcohol in his system from the previous night. Now, because of that unfortunate incident, our swimming pool was shut indefinitely. Now, I was all of 14 years old. At that point in time, I was devastated, and I was more devastated for the pool being shut for me than that poor man who lost his life. And in hindsight, I realized that was me being a very horrible person. But coming back to the story, the only other option that I had is if I wanted to train for swimming and diving together was to go to Sports Authority of India, which was on Mysore Road. And the flyover wasn't even built in those days. And for all of you who have been in Bangalore from time immemorial, you all know what carnage was on that road. I was also in the 10th standard preparing for my ICSE exams, and traveling every day after school to and from was simply out of the question. The anger and frustration inside me kept growing day by day, day by day, day by day, until one day my mom got fed up of looking at me sitting like a dying goose in the house and told me that while my swimming had stopped, there was no reason that I needed to stop all my physical activity. And she said that she would start taking me to Kantirva Stadium every morning for my athletics training. Now, this was something that I used to do earlier from my 5th standard. But once the swimming stopped, I had given up on that too. So I began going back to the stadium every morning. And one day a man approached my mom at the stadium and said, "Your daughter has extremely good flexibility. Has she ever thought of martial arts?" So he was the Karnataka coach for Taekwondo. He invited us to the training center next door. And as I entered, the first thing I saw was a blood-splattered chest guard, practice sessions where people were kicking each other, punching each other. And I immediately fell in love. My mom enrolled me there the next day, and then the rest was history. I went on to become the youngest Indian to get my black belt directly from Korea, and also went on to win gold at the nationals many times.
Yay!
Thank you, Melvin.
Yay, well done.
That day that unfortunate incident happened at Alsur swimming pool, My story with swimming that began there had an unfortunate end. But if that end hadn't happened, I wouldn't have ever found the new beginning that Taekwondo had to offer me. And the new beginning led me onto a journey that helped me learn and discover things about me that I never knew existed. Similarly, in Toastmasters, each of us are on a different journey, but all of us are here with the same goal: to grow and become better communicators. Sometimes in these journeys, we hit what we think are roadblocks: a bad speech, a negative evaluation, the ending of an old communication track and being forced to move to pathways, adopting to online meetings. But these aren't roadblocks. These, my friends, these are just ends to the journeys that we have already completed. It is life's way of showing us that it's time we switch gears and begin the new journey that is written for us. Embrace this. Embrace the end. Savor the beginning and make best use of every single thing that life throws your way. And to lead us through today's meeting, we have someone who has embraced every beginning and end that life has thrown at him. A leading soft skills trainer, a Toastmaster for over 18 years, and someone who has always shown us how to play each role on stage with heart and soul. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Toastmaster of today, the man who always makes us laugh and puts us on top of the world, the one, the only Toastmaster Vijay Anand.
Yay.
Audio check. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, very much.
Okay. First things first, thank you, Madam President, for those kind words of introduction. Every beginning requires that we step into the unknown. My heart tells me that every human being experiences some amount of discomfort when you step into the unknown, when you embrace something new. Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests, we are all in this journey where we have to embrace something new. But my question to you, can we get comfortable when we embrace something new? It reminds me of a story, an ancient kingdom. This king wanted to test the people of his kingdom, whether they were comfortable with change, whether they would be happy with something new. And mind you, there was only one road leading to that kingdom. So what the king did was, he placed a massive boulder on that one road leading to the kingdom. First, the rich merchants came. They saw the boulder, they tried to push it, it wouldn't budge. They said, no, let's just go back to our hometown and whatever money we have, we lead our life. Then came the poor farmers. Now, the poor farmers had to sell their vegetables, and for that, they needed to reach the kingdom. The poor farmers got together with all their might and they moved the boulder. On moving the boulder, they found there was a huge sack beneath the boulder, where the boulder was. And on opening the sack, they found so many gold coins. Well, you all know better than me, this is a fable, but what does this imaginary story tell us? Are we like the merchants, not willing to experience something new, not willing to remove those boulders, those blocks, those challenges? Or do we want to be like those farmers, remove those obstacles, and there'll be so many treasures lying for you? What could be the obstacles in embracing something new? It could be low in confidence. It could be perhaps you don't have good communication skills. Maybe you don't have good people skills. Someone feels I don't have the right education. Someone feels I don't have the right contacts, and so forth, so on. The list is endless. But friends, if you're like those farmers, pushing aside those obstacles, there are many treasures lying ahead. Talking about obstacles and new beginnings, in the beginning of the 20th century, there was a gentleman who realized that many young men could not speak in front of a group of people. Raising a toast in a social gathering, for example, a wedding, this young man with a glass of wine in hand, the hand was shaking and the contents of the glass spilt out. He spilled the entire wine. A beginning in facing a group, but there was mental block for all these young men. To put an end to this scare of speaking in public, this gentleman started Toastmasters. I'm referring to none other than Dr. Ralph Smedley, who started Toastmasters, some say 1903, some say 1905, but the first club started in 1924. And that was the beginning of a beautiful journey where it helped many people like you and me improve our communication and leadership skills. This was such a humble movement, a very simple movement, but it grew by leaps and bounds. And today, as we speak, there are more than 357,000 members on the roster right now, Toastmasters across 6 continents, in 143 countries, and about 16,600 clubs. Now, for the benefit of guests who are on this Zoom call or attending a Toastmasters meeting for the first time, if you're wondering what happens in a Toastmasters meeting, a Toastmasters meeting typically is broken into 3 parts or 3 sessions. The first session, which begins shortly, is about prepared speeches. Members prepare their projects based on guidelines in advance and come and give the speech at their home club or any other Toastmasters club. The second is about table topics or impromptu speaking, where you have to speak off the cuff. Today, we don't have the table topics. It's a slight change. We have a lot of topics coming onto the table. And the third session is about evaluation. Evaluation is how you have performed. The general evaluator, led by his team, will tell us what we did well, and more importantly, where we have to improve. In the Toastmasters parlance, like I mentioned, the general evaluator is the one who leads the evaluation session. Today, as general evaluator, I asked him, based on the theme, the first question, what does it mean to you? Every beginning has an end and every end has a new beginning. He replied, every day ends with sound sleep. And every beginning, the new day starts where I'm refreshed. Truly blessed is this man, sound sleep. Second question I asked him, what does working hard mean to you? He said, my job is a hobby. That's very refreshing to hear that. And since it's a hobby, 38 years at that job, he believes in being happy, enjoying life. Let me repeat that. Being happy, enjoying life. BHEL, the short form. And that's where he's worked for 38 years. I asked him the third question. How have you benefited from Toastmasters? He says, opportunities, new learnings, contacts, and the best part, mentoring. This gentleman, the G, has 1,000 children who have been mentored by him. He's the first district governor of District 82. In the year 2006-2007, the first district clubs from India and Sri Lanka. And this gentleman was recently conferred with the highest award in Toastmasters from Toastmasters International. That is the DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the G of today's meeting, John Bosco Abraham. Round of applause, please, Bosco.
Thank you, Vijay.
Bosco, I would request you to introduce the tag team. I'll hand it over to you.
Very good evening to you all, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests from across the world. It is my pleasure this evening to be a part of the last meeting of the term, January to June 2020. We started with regular meetings, but we are on virtual meetings. I have lots to say, which I will do at the end of the meeting. Right now, I am very happy to inform you and introduce to you my team. In the R counter, we have Toastmaster Nitesh, and I would request Nitesh to kindly share with us your role.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as R counter is to count the number of unnecessary sounds or repetitive words you may use when you are speaking. I will be observing and taking note of the words such as you know, like. These are filler words that affect the effectiveness of the speech. I will present my report when called upon by the General Evaluator. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Nitesh. To keep track of time, in our time manager, we have Vinay Kumar. I request Vinay, kindly share with us your duties.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and a guest. I will be the timekeeper for the day. I'm sorry, I would just tell you, please do let me know if this is the sound, what I'm going to do at the end of the time. I will do it at the 5 minutes or at the first break. This is what is going to be the sound. And for the next minute, it is going to be 2 times. And third time, I'm going to, at the end, I'm going to do it 3 times. Please do let me know if this sound is are you able to hear to this?
Yes, we are able to hear you, and I would request the administrator not to switch off his mic when the speech session is on. Thank you, Vinay. To keep track of grammar, we have Lokesh, and I would request Lokesh to kindly share with us your duties.
A pen is mightier than a sword. Words have power to transform the world. And as the grammarian of the day, I would like to add to your quiver of arrows the word of the day today. It's sedulous, which is an adjective. It means diligent in application or attention, persevering, assiduous. It also means persistently or carefully maintained. And the example to use this word of the day is the sedulous effort of speakers won many triple crowns for Bangalore Toastmasters Club this month. The beauty of Lal Bagh is due to the sedulous care of the gardeners. And this great word was originated, it's from a Latin root called as se dolo, which means diligent without guile. As a grammarian, I would also see that the usage of the words is proper. And at the end of the session, I would present my report on the good usages of the words, how to use the words that have power to the session. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lokesh. I hand the meeting back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Vijay Anand.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bosco. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the first session, the prepared speech session. Before that, before I invite the evaluator, a few words about him. This gentleman, when it comes to working, of course, he's working hard like all of us. But the takeoffs in his work career is extremely smooth. The landings, touchdowns are very smooth. In between, a little bit of turbulence. No wonder he works with the travel and tourism industry. I request Toastmaster Melvin Smith to please read out the evaluation guidelines for the first speaker's project.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Purpose statement of this speech would be, of this project, is for the member to identify his or her primary leadership style or styles. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of her or his leadership style or discuss leadership styles in general. And to be a sedulous speech, you have to end your speech within 5 to 7 minutes. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Melvin. Now, this speaker, when I asked him, what does the theme mean to you with regard to beginning, end? He said, be as welcoming about the end as you are about the beginning. I asked him, what does working hard mean to you? He said, since he's never got anything easily in life, he's always worked hard. And I asked him, how have you benefited from Toastmasters? He says, Toastmasters has helped him rediscover the joys of public speaking, meet excellent people, and listen to wonderful ideas. Now, friends, I'm sure we're going to listen to wonderful ideas. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Alok Simha with speech title, Task or Person. Task or Person, Toastmaster Alok Simha. Round of applause, please, for Alok. It's over to Alok.
Sample the scenario. You have a crucial project deadline coming up tomorrow, and one of your most important team members calls in asking for a sick leave. Now, you know that this team member has put his heart and soul to the project and he's probably stressed and deserves the sick leave. But you also understand that if you give him the sick leave, you may not be able to meet your project deadline. What would you do in such a scenario? Dear Toastmasters and guests, one of the major conundrums of leaders in middle management is how do they balance the team interests while also achieving the organizational objectives assigned to them. In my stint as a line manager with a healthcare major, I was tasked with managing a team of 6 medical representatives who came from diverse backgrounds and different years of experience. Now the problem got more complex because I was a first-time manager and I had zero experience in pharma. My company trained me for about 2 weeks in a classroom and then deployed me on the field to work with the team. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how I went about working with 3 of my team members. And in working with these team members, I employed principles from the task resource continuum that was first proposed by Tannenbaum and Schmidt. Now, this particular task resource continuum forms an important body of work in the entire universe of leadership and management. Now, of course, I would want to clarify that I did not read these principles and apply them on the field. It was only when I deconstructed how I work with the team that I realized I could have probably employed principles from this particular framework. Now, of course, if somebody presents a similar scenario, I'm sure to apply the task continuum to manage the team. So let's start off. First up, I would want to talk to you about my member, Vikram. Now, Vikram was a smart, intelligent guy, straight out of college. He had a degree in pharma, but he had no professional experience. Now, each MR assigned to the team had to meet about 180 doctors over a span of 50 days. And for someone who's not experienced in field sales, this is a humongous task. Of course, he did not have any experience. So in this particular case, I decided to plan the entire territory for him. I decided which area Vikram would tackle on what day, how many doctors he would meet on each day. So in other words, I was trying to focus more on the task side of the task resource continuum. I was being extremely directive with Vikram so I enable him to achieve his territory of goals of marking the entire territory at the end of 20 days. Moving on, the second member in my team was Prabhu. Now, Prabhu had an experience of about 4 years in the industry, but he was new to the organization. He was well versed with the territory that he was assigned and also had a good rapport with a lot of doctors in the territory. But again, he did not have any knowledge about the products or the marketing strategies that we employed as an organization. So while trying to carve out the plan for Prabhu, we sat down together. We did it together. I gave him a complete free hand in terms of planning his territory because he was well versed with it. But then I kept the initiative with myself when it came to the product strategy and the marketing techniques that we were going to employ. Now, this worked well for us. If you observe here, I was trying to be towards the center of the task resource continuum. While I gave a free rein to Prabhu in terms of planning his territory, I kept some of the initiative with myself when it came to product and marketing. Now, this meant that we were creating a win-win situation for both of us to go out and achieve the deliverables that were meant for Prabhu's territory. However, if you ask me my most interesting case study, it was my team member, Abdul. Now, Abdul had an experience of almost a decade in the industry, and he also had spent a couple of years in our organization. If he has been assigned to me, it was only because his previous line manager had chosen to move out of the organization. Now, I quickly realized that trying to plan a routine for Abdul would not work for me. Instead, I gave him complete autonomy. I asked him to plan his own territory. I asked him to go about detailing and plan how he was going to employ the marketing techniques. Here, if you notice, I was taking a step back. I took a step back and I even told Abdul that I was going to shadow him. I started asking him a lot of questions to try and understand the nuances of the industry from him. And this seemed to work. Slowly, Abdul started trusting me. He started opening up to me. And after a couple of months, he came back to me asking for guidance and feedback on how he went about it. Now, if you notice in this particular case, I was totally focused on the resource. I gave Abdul complete autonomy, and as a consequence, he had started trusting me. He came back to me for guidance. And in that way, both of us could now go out and deliver the deliverables which were assigned for Abdul's delivery. So that way, ladies and gentlemen, I employed the task and resource continuum to manage 3 of my teammates who had diverse backgrounds in different years of experience and had their unique strengths and areas of improvement. With this set of anecdotes, if you ask me what my dominant leadership style is, I would say I'm more of a collaborative leader. I believe in considering the inputs of all my team members and during the planning stage, so that when we go on to execute the plan, the team members feel a complete sense of ownership. That being said, I really believe it's also important for a leader to blend his leadership style with the situation or the task on hand and have that urgency. And this blending of leadership styles is what makes leadership an exciting journey. So if I were to ask you the question again that I asked you in the beginning, if your most important teammate calls you on the day of your project submission and tells you that he wants a sick leave, what would your decision be? Over to the Toastmaster of the day, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alok. I must say that is a sedulous approach to leadership. Different strokes for different folks. Well done, Alok. Moving on to our second speaker, the evaluator of the speech. When I asked him, what's your take on the theme, beginning, end? He said, Vijay, it's very difficult to identify which is the ending, which is the beginning. So I asked him, no, your answer to my question, is it the beginning or the end? He said, no, that's the end. Okay, I thought, let me go on to the next question. I said, what does working hard to you mean? He said, starting trouble. Now we have many Toastmasters in different parts of the globe. It's a colloquial usage in India. Starting trouble means inertia, a physics term, difficult to get off the ground running. He said, it's very difficult to start any work which requires a lot of effort. But once you start working hard, you can sustain that. Well done. I asked him, what are the benefits of being a Toastmaster for so many years, veteran Toastmaster, 23 years and counting? He says, of course, it's helped me improve communication skills. But he said, more importantly, Vijay, it's helped me to network with the young and latest. I asked him, young and latest, I know we have 100 members. Can you mention a few names? He said, see, a lot of names. I said, come on, few names. He said, see, Priyanka, Dolly, Kirtana, Varsha. He says, he asked me, you know what's in common? Yeah, I know what's in common. They're all girls. No, he said, what I meant to say was they're all go-getters, dynamic people, creative people. I request the creative Somashekar to please read out the guidelines for the next project.
Thank you, Vijay. So this is project number 10 from the CC manual. The objectives of this project: to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. Appeal to the audience's needs and emotions using stories, anecdotes, and quotes to add drama. Avoid using notes. Timer, please note, it's 8 to 10 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Somashekar. Project 10, inspire your audience. Now, when I asked this member, what's your take on the theme? Inspirational message. He said, you must have the courage to make a new beginning. I asked him, what does working hard mean to you? He says, deadly hours make deadly days. Deadly days make deadly weeks. Deadly weeks make deadly months. That's why he works hard. I thought to myself, what a deadly answer. I asked him, what's the benefit of being a Toastmaster? He said, Toastmasters has unleashed the leader in him. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Satvik Shetty. The speech title, You Are Judged. You are judged. Toastmaster Satvik Shetty. Round of applause, please. It's over to you, Satvik.
Look at me right now. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Am I arrogant? Am I humble? Am I pleasing? Or am I charming? If you have thought any of this or anything other than this, you have judged me. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, and all those who judge and who are judged, a very good evening. It was our first day in 10th standard, and it was maths class. Mr. Brahmanandam Venugopal Shastri was a class teacher, maths teacher. It was as if all the formulas in maths were a subset of his name. He was extremely proud of his length of his name. But the depth of his knowledge was inversely proportional to the length of his name. We often played this small game in his class. If the name of the girl who you loved and your name, if both our names could be written, using the letters of a sir's name basically meant we both were partners. That was the only way we could pass time. All right? Now, he was teaching us Pythagoras theorem. He drew a right angle triangle. He drew an angle theta. And then he went on to say, class, sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equal to, just then, someone knocked the door. We all looked into the door. I was shocked. It was my Neetu. Now, Neetu, few months back, in 9th standard, she was like theta, plump and oval. And now, she looks like gamma, slim and trim. I kept staring at her. She walked like an angel. Her hair was just falling just about on her shoulder. And that black bindi between her beautifully structured eyebrows. And how elegantly she walked and sat in the front row. I fell in love at that moment. Just then, I heard a voice. Satwik, what is sine squared theta plus cos squared theta? Sir, she's not theta, sir, she's gamma. What was I thinking then? Everybody was staring at me. I was thrown out of the class right away. I went out. After the class finished, I approached Neetu. But then, Neetu wouldn't talk to me because she thought I was dumb. That was the first time I was judged. Now in school, apart from Neetu, the only thing that I loved was cricket. But then, because I was slightly overweight, people judged me that I had no talent to bat or to ball. I was judged based on my personality. And that was the second time I was judged in my life. Now, I moved on from school to college, right? In college, I was extremely skeptical to meet new people because I feared that they would judge me. They would judge me because in school, I was bullied, I was harassed, I was tormented, and I was judged. In fact, in college, I began to judge every person. Is he going to bully me? Is he going to tease me? Is he going to torment me? Etc., etc., etc. As a result, I made no friends in college. Now, the next phase of my life. From college, I moved into work. Now, by this time, my subconscious mind had been deeply ingrained and trained to judge people. One day at office, we had a new joinee who joined our team, our department. Her name was Melissa. Now, she was quite plump, but what was weird about her was the way she groomed herself. It appeared as if she was a characterless woman. And she would quite often take long cigarette breaks, and this made me to judge her character. I often spoke about her character to my colleagues. And within 3 months' time, the news spread in office that Melissa was a characterless woman. One day, I entered office and I couldn't find Melissa there. So I asked Shruti, her only friend. I asked Shruti, hey Shruti, where is Melissa? She said, Satwik, Melissa quit last week. She quit? Why? What happened? She couldn't tolerate all the false rumors in office, and therefore she quit. And Shruti went on to tell or narrate Melissa's story. It seems, as a young kid, Melissa had lost her father. And during teenage, she was abused, physically abused by a group of men. And she had 2 sisters and 1 mother to take care of. And a few months back, she got married. And due to health complications, she put on weight. And therefore, her husband divorced her. Since then, Melissa had zero respect for men and society. And therefore, she never cared the way she groomed herself. And this was the only job through which she could feed her family and herself. I was devastated. I went back home that day and I put my head over my mother's lap. I told her the entire story. She told me, son, what a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake have you made today. What she said next, I can never forget the rest of my life. You have no right to judge anybody on this planet. Everybody has a bright side and a dark side. We have no idea what the battles, the hardships, the difficulties they had to go through and fight in life. But then I held my mother's hand. I looked into her eyes. I asked, Mom, then why was I judged, Mom, in school? Why was I bullied, harassed, and tormented in school? For which she only said one thing. Son, forgive them. They were immature. They knew not what they were doing. Ladies and gentlemen, each and every moment you are being judged continuously in your life. You are judged if you have a tattoo. You are judged if you're wearing a mini skirt. You are judged if you have a political opinion. In fact, you are judged each and every moment of your life. We all know the consequences of being judged based on the color of our skin. In the case of George Floyd, we all know what he and his family and the entire society had to go through on the basis of judgment on the basis of the color of the skin. Friends, can we accept people the way they are? Or what's the first thing that comes to your mind if you see me right now? Over to you, Toastmaster.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together for the latest competent communicator of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. This is a milestone achievement. It takes a lot of doing, no mean achievement. Congratulations, Toastmasters Satvik Shetty.
Thank you.
Toastmasters Satvik, all your presentations over the years, my friend, I've observed. You tell us how you seduce those pretty girls. I'm sorry. I meant to say this word of the day is a brain twister for me. How sedulous you are in your speeches. I'm not judging you, Satvik. It's just that I wanted to use the word of the day. Well done, my friend. Keep it up.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you.
Moving on to the third speaker. Before that, I asked the evaluator, what is your take on the theme, beginning and end? He mentioned, unless a seed dies, it cannot sprout to begin a new life. I was wondering, he's planting new ideas in our head with this seed concept. I asked him, what does working hard mean to you? He said, work is life. Work is a blessing. Suddenly I was wondering, am I hearing God speak? Philosophical words. God? Oh, the evaluator's name is Godfrey Soanes. I asked Godfrey, how have you benefited from Toastmasters? And he said, I'm able to articulate my thoughts. I would request Godfrey to articulate the project guidelines for the next speech. Godfrey Soanes, please.
Thank you, Toastmasters, Mr. Vijay. The speakers are attempting an advanced project, speaking to inform the abstract concept. The objectives are research and analyze an abstract concept, theory, historical force, or social or political issue. Present the ideas in a clear, interesting manner. The time is 6 to 8 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Godfrey. The speaker, when I asked her, what does the theme mean to you? She says, every new beginning, there is change involved. But change is what brings spice to life. I fully agree with her. I said, what does working hard mean to you? She said, giving 100% of whatever she does gives her immense satisfaction. And I asked her, how have you benefited from Toastmasters? And she says, it's helped her to understand herself better and think of her positive traits. Well done, that's self-awareness. Please join me in welcoming the third speaker in the prepared speech session, Toastmaster Smita Roshi. Speech title, Melt. Speech title, Melt. Toastmaster Smita Roshi. Over to you, Smita.
Do you want to be lucky in life? Do you want to attract all the good fortune due? Do you want to be that one person who have made the most of opportunities? Basically, do you want luck to take you from here to here? Then I have a formula for you. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Richard Wiseman, in his book, The Luck Factor, Choose Your Luck, Choose Your Life, says 4 principles. He has done an extensive research of 400 people from all walks of life over a period of 10 years and has come up with these 4 principles which can make unlucky people lucky, lucky people luckier. So, what makes lucky people different from unlucky people? He quotes an experiment. A group of people were asked to flip through newspaper to count the number of photographs in that. On the 3rd page, it is written there are 43 photographs near to a picture. On the 6th page, again it is written there are 43 photographs. Ask your experimenter to give you 50 pounds. Unlucky people were so engrossed in counting, they didn't find the message. Whereas lucky people demanded the 50 pounds. Another scene. Imagine that you are going to a party looking for the love of your life. Unlucky people were so focused in finding out the perfect partner that they ended up not meeting people who may have become good friends. or may have helped them in their career. So the age-old thinking of being focused, being driven in one direction, does not help. Wiseman says you should be all ears and eyes for the new opportunities. Lucky people are skilled in noticing, creating, and acting on new opportunities. They do it in different ways. They build a strong network of people, yeah, have a relaxed attitude in life, and they look for new learning experiences. They grab the opportunities and make the best turn out for them. They maximize the opportunities. Another striking difference between lucky people and unlucky people. A $100 bill was left in front of a cafeteria. Mervyn, who considered himself lucky, and Brenda, who considered herself unlucky, both were sent in at different point of time. Mervyn went inside, noticed a $100 bill, took it happily, went inside, chatted with a leading businessman, and whereas Brenda failed to notice a note, she went inside, sat there quietly, came back. Mervyn, at the end of the day, had a happening day, whereas Brenda, it was just another day, even though the circumstances were the same. Lucky people expect good fortune, and it happens over the time. It happens to them because they persist in the face of failure, and then they win over. They positively change their interactions with people. They expect good fortune. Mr. Barnett Helzberg is a leading businessman with a chain of jewelry stores with a turnout of $300 million per year by the end of 1994. One day, he was walking past a Plaza Hotel in New York. He heard somebody calling out, "Mr. Buffett." He wondered whether the man near him is Mr. Warren Buffett. He had never met him before, but a thought struck his mind. He was turning 60 and he wanted to sell his company. And he thought Mr. Buffett will be interested in buying his type of store. So he, without any hesitation, went ahead, struck a conversation with the stranger, and it indeed was Mr. Warren Buffett. The meeting was so successful that within 1 year, Buffett bought his company. All because Mr. Helzberg listened to his lucky hunch. Lucky people make effective decisions based on their gut feeling and instinct. And also they improve upon it by doing meditation. Their intuitive capacities and capabilities, they improve it by meditation and clearing the clutter out of the mind. They listen to the lucky hunch. Lucky people also uses various techniques to cope with and even overcome problems that come in the way. They don't dwell in the problem, they become part of the problem and turn around the problems to their benefit. They see the silver lining in every dark cloud. One day, a man who considered himself lucky was asked, "What if you are in a bank when a bank robbery is happening and you were shot in your arm?" He said, "I'll consider myself lucky. I was not shot in my head. And I will send my story and try to make some money out of it." So the 4 principles. Maximizing your opportunities. Expecting good fortune. Listening to your lucky hunch. Turning bad fortune to good fortune. The 4 cornerstones of building luck. How about having some luck in your life? How about melting some luck into your life in these testing times? When you have rising tension? Why not? With a little bit difference in your thought and behavior, you can make a big difference. You can become luck magnets, attracting good fortune to you. How about melting some luck into your life? Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smitha Roshi. I'm sure all the members and guests on this call will consider themselves lucky because you shared this formula and we will just melt with your thoughts. That brings us to the end of the prepared speech session. Now, let's move on to the second session of Toastmasters Club, which is generally table topics. Like I mentioned earlier, this week it's different. The gentleman is going to speak next. He brings so much to the table, so many topics. So I thought I'd ask him a few questions. I asked him, what's your take on the theme? Every beginning has an end, every end has a new beginning. He just replied, Vijay, is this a Corona special meet? I almost dropped the book and pen I was carrying to jot down some notes. I asked him, what does working hard mean to you? He says, I don't work hard. I just enjoy my vocation. It's not like work to me. This time I almost slipped and fell from the sofa. Third question I asked him, how have you benefited from Toastmasters? That's what I've come here for this meeting to tell you. I thought it was difficult to get some information from this gentleman. It's not his mistake. Maybe my interviewing skills. I have to work on that, my probing skills. So what I did was, I checked out Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Milligram, Gram, Kilogram, all social media handles that I could handle to find out more about this gentleman. And here's what I found. He's a corporate trainer, trained more than 1 lakh, more than 100,000 people. Some of the companies he has done training for include Mercedes-Benz, JP Morgan, Infosys, Wipro, Siemens, Microsoft, Wells Fargo, ANZ, Dell, to name a few. He's a motivation speaker and has given over 1,000 talks. 3 times TEDx speaker, filmmaker. These are achievements outside of Toastmasters. Now let me get into his achievements inside Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, 3 times DTM. You heard me right, 3 times Distinguished Toastmaster. The first in District 92 to finish a DTM through Pathways. 9 times president, club president. 2 times founder president. Past area governor, past division governor, past lieutenant governor marketing of District 82. That's where the district, first time district was formed in India and Sri Lanka. District 92 champion thrice in the past 5 years. Second runner-up in semi-finals of the World Championship Public Speaking in 2016 in Washington, D.C. First runner-up at the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2018 in Chicago. He is the current District 92 ISC Champion 2020. This gentleman is an amazing public speaker, an amazing orator, and the title of the keynote address today, so apt. The journey of a public speaker. And who am I referring to? Deepak Justin, very fondly called DJ. The journey public speaker. Please join me in welcoming Deepak Justin, the best. And today, undoubtedly, we were the best. Let me clarify. DJ is a good friend of mine. I took the liberty to pull his legs when I said he was rude. Far from that. We just spoke about 3 minutes about the meeting to get his introduction. And the next 20 minutes I was rolling on the floor laughing, literally, not metaphorically. And if you think I'm joking, this gentleman, in spite of his achievements, he's so humble. Today's modern world, birthday or anniversary, you text someone, you WhatsApp someone, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. But this gentleman, DJ, every birthday of mine, he calls and wishes. He's a truly humble gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for DJ. A round of applause, please. Please unmute your devices and thunder round of applause. Thank you, DJ. With this, let's quickly head into the general evaluation session. And I now hand over the charge to John Bosco Abraham. Yes, Bosco.
Thank you, Vijay. Once again, a very good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Many years ago, I conducted a judges training program for the district, and there were only 7 participants taking part. Now, that was a big challenge for me when I was expecting at least 70 people. There was one gentleman who sat through the 3 hours, listened to everything that was said, and perhaps learned what judging is all about when he started making his way to become a champ. I'm referring to DJ, the brand, who was humble enough to take part in a judges training just to see where he can change. Humble enough to acknowledge people who are in his life. And he has given us an awesome opportunity to understand what communication is all about. DJ, you are perfect and erudite, mesmerizing way of speaking, strong takeaway messages, heart-touching examples. I'm sure this meeting, the last of this term, would be the icing on the cake for Deepika as she says goodbye to the club as the president. Thank you very much, DJ, for being a part of this meeting and for ensuring that this meeting was of the highest level. So fellow Toastmasters, before I get into the evaluation of the club's meeting, I just wanted to say thank you to DJ and please join me in thanking him. Thank you very much. Today's meeting started with our Sergeant at Arms actually inviting Varsha, the Vice President membership, to induct the new members. Whilst Varsha did an excellent job in inducting the new members, in fact, some of our guests commented on the chat that it was an awesome way of doing it. Thank you very much, Varsha, for inducting Pavitra, Vishal, and Akhilesh. Pavitra, Vishal, and Akhilesh, you have entered a great organization. Remain with it. It will change your life. Let me tell you, it changed mine. Srijit, as a Sergeant at Arms, you did have a great message, set the ball rolling of the meeting. However, I thought you should have set the ball rolling before the induction and then invited Varsha, because that was a very important part of the meeting to start the meeting. It sounded a little flat to me, but you finally went on to take over the meeting and introduced what you called the Cedulous President, Deepika. Thank you, Srijit. Thank you, Varsha, for the roles that you played. So let's give them their due. The President invited the Secretary, Rahul, to present the minutes, which was flawlessly done and it was passed. I like your message, Deepika. As the president of the club, you always had something nice to say. Your personal examples, I think, are more motivating and inspiring. And the way you went through it, the challenges you faced and how you overcame and came out a winner is something that is a very good message that we will all remember. Thank you so much, Deepika, for not only today's message, but for being the president of our club and leading it from the front. You have achieved a lot during your term, and the club has achieved a lot too. I would like to talk about today's Toastmaster of the day, Vijay Anand, who played his role with aplomb. Nobody can match Vijay. His inimitable style of doing things is a brand by itself. Fitting story of the boulder, introducing the Toastmaster of the day in style, introducing the evaluators, introducing the speakers, having done his homework, getting in touch with them was a nice way of getting things done. Vijay, congratulations on a great job done. You definitely took the meetings level to a very, very great level, which I am very, very happy to be a part of. Thank you for raising the bar in today's meeting and setting very high standards for the next committee to start their meeting next week. Thank you once again, Vijay.
Thank you, Bosco.
Shall we give Vijay his due, please? We then had the speech session. I would request the evaluators to please come forward and give their feedback. To evaluate Alok Simha, I request Melvin Smith, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Gentle Evaluator Bosco Abraham, and all you lovely guests, and in particular, Alok Simha. Your title of your speech, Task or Person, immediately showed business. But I would have liked to have started with a quote like this. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. That, I believe, would have caught people's attention and wanted to listen to you. In fact, the question that you posed, I'm still wondering whether I should actually be giving that person leave or bothering about the task. What you excelled, Alok, was that you gave alive and relevant examples from your own life. The three different people, Vikram, Prabhu, and Abdul. And you showed how you use, like the Toastmaster of the day said, different strokes for different folks. Vikram being not so experienced, you charted out his territory and his calling pattern. Prabhu had some bit of experience, so you kept some of the tasks to yourself and let him do the remaining. And Abdul, who was the most experienced but did not have the fortune to go ahead, you said you would shadow him, and you said the word that it captures everyone. Trust. That is what you showed. By that, you showed that you are very collaborative and how you use your blend leadership. What I would like you to challenge yourself, Alok, is to use a different way of getting attention. You could have said, adapt or perish, and then continue your story. And give some relevant quotes that will enhance your ideas of your speech. I found that your voice is very clear and loud. You've got good vocal variety, but when it comes to eye contact in this medium, you must try and use something different. You see, in person, you use a lot of physical gestures, but here you have to try methods that will get people's attention. Probably ask a question and expect a response. That way, engaging the audience. I found that your comfort level was at the best. You were smiling and you spoke very confidently. And most importantly, you had 3 different roles that you showed, that showed us how sedulously you prepared for this speech. All the best. Waiting to hear more from you in future. Back to the G.
Thank you, Melvin, for your exhaustive evaluation of Alok. Congratulations, Alok, for having taken up a very, very difficult project, and it's all about leadership. I think it's the learning that all of us should look in this particular speech, because leadership and communication both are a part of Toastmasters journey. Thank you once again, Melvin. So shall we give the speaker and the evaluator their due, please? Next speaker was Satvik, attempting his CC10, and I would request Somshekhar to give his evaluation, please.
Mr. General Evaluator and Toastmaster Satvik, that was a brilliant speech, I would say. So I suddenly thought, when did my laptop become 3D? It was appearing like you were coming out of the screen. So the body language, the body movement, gestures were simply brilliant. Great preparation, Satvik. Wonderful job done. Going by the guidelines of the speech, so one of the main factors to be considered here is to use the learnings from your previous speeches. And I think you had it all. Right from the opening of the speech, the conclusion. As a speaker, you were very forceful, confident, positive. You used stories, that to real life stories, which makes a big difference to the audience. And you did convey the message very well. Now, let us see how much did you inspire the audience. Competent Toastmasters is a milestone in this journey, and this speech is very special. The main goal is to motivate the audience. The theme you selected was very apt, and I felt it had a great emotional appeal in it, right? So that was the theme. So the question is, how well did you deliver? Now, according to me, it is my personal opinion, when you are trying to motivate an audience, there are actually two things, right? One is a problem statement. You had the problem statement as, are you judged? And then the solution, or actually what is that you are appealing. I felt the proportions were a mismatch. 90% of the speech, I felt it was a problem statement. You're talking, so many things about the judgment. And in fact, there were certain adjectives or the words you used, Satvik, I personally didn't like, and I feel audience also might have an objection. Like you're talking about Melissa, she was plump, characterless. It's okay, one time is okay, but I felt you were using it repeatedly, and that might not leave a great taste. So overall, I felt regarding the emotional appeal, the percentage should have been changed. Maybe 25% you tell about the problem, but now 75% should be more on what can people do to overcome the problem. So this is, again, my personal opinion, but otherwise, as I told, this was one of the liveliest speech I have ever witnessed. You were simply brilliant in front of the camera and used all the techniques, right? So for a job well done, Satvik, let's all give him a very big round of applause. This is a milestone speech, and here is our new competent Toastmaster, Satvik Shetty. Brilliantly done. Over to you, boss.
Thank you, Somshekhar, for that excellent evaluation on the competent communicator speech of Satvik. I fully agree with you on many of the points that you have brought out. Satvik, whatever was told is not that you are judged like your topic, but it is you are informed that this is what can be different in your speech. I congratulate you. You must remember, Satvik, that you are one among only 30% of Toastmasters who have completed their Competent Communicator Award. So that's a great achievement for you. 30% worldwide, not only in our club. So congratulations on your performance and achievement. We look forward to hearing you again. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
We then had Smita Roshi melting us. I would request Godfrey Sones to give his feedback, please.
Good evening, General Evaluator and Speaker Smita Roshi in particular. Am I audible?
Yes.
She was attempting a speech on the project, the abstract concept. Now, I would like to give my feedback based on the same acronym MELT. When I say M, I am referring to the matter. The content was very good. It was very well structured with good preparation and well rehearsed. At the same time, giving us a lot of illustrations, anecdotes, so that we could understand what she exactly wanted to tell about the subject. Because the subject is an abstract concept, which is a make-believe, and you need to make the audience feel very concrete about that kind of belief that you are thinking of, and whether that can be possibly made a life-changing one. That's one, I think I liked it, the content. Next, I come to the E, that excellence in the form that I can tell you is sedulously scripted. It was so well done. Step by step, you could follow what she wanted to tell by giving us making us curious with the question, then giving the examples, 1 example, 2 examples, 3 examples, giving us and fortifying her points so that you drive home the point. That's very well done. That's a wonderful effort. And next I come into the lucidity or the clarity. The clarity was again backed up with facts, with telling the story about Warren Buffett, and then the different kinds of examples where you can work on it and find your silver lining. That's one thing which I liked it. The last one is definitely the transformational. When you are speaking to an audience, what you exactly want the audience to learn from it, and the take-home points. That is, it can be life-changing or transformational. So that was there in everything that she wanted to drive home the point. But being an evaluation is not all about finding gray areas and then just trying to bring down the speaker. It's just like cutting the nose and then giving a rose to smell. What I would like to say is that there are some gray areas where you can work on it. First thing is that when you are dealing with such an abstract subject and you want to make the people believe that it is life transformational, if you could add some of your own personal stories, that would be more touching, and the best connect and the right connect can happen there. And that can be really, really life-changing for the people when they leave the room. Next, I found the subject was heaped or was overwhelmed with lot of examples and illustrations and all those things. But one thing is that it is good for academic interest. But what about, because since it is an abstract concept, but if you can inject a little humor, that would have made it more interesting. Because, for example, suppose if you want to say something about relativity, you can say, relativity is a very difficult subject. Like keeping a hand on a hot plate might seem, for 1 minute, might seem like an hour. But sitting with a beautiful lady to talk, 1 hour might seem like 1 minute. So you can drive home the point, what exactly you want to say, and make it more understandable to the people, so that even a shepherd can understand what you want to say, even though it might be a very scientific subject or a philosophical subject. That's what I want to do. Otherwise, a very wonderful speech. I really enjoyed. Wishing you all the best in your future journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Godfrey, for that excellent evaluation of Smita's speech on MELT. I fully concur most of what you said about her speech. An abstract concept is a very difficult speech to prepare, because it is a challenging type of a speech. But I think, Smita, you did a fantastic job. Your voice, your gestures, your manner of speaking has gone to a very high level. And after completing this project, you are now entitled to be called Advanced Toastmaster Bronze after completing the 10 speeches in the advanced manuals. Congratulations, Smita. 2 months ago, you thought you will not be able to do it, but today you stand proud in a great club. You had a great audience, and I'm sure you go back home very, very happy on your achievement. We are proud of you, Smita. Thank you. So that we completed the speech evaluations. Now I would like to call on my team of evaluators to give their feedbacks before I get into something else. We had Nitesh in the R counter. Please, Nitesh, can you give your feedback?
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Here's the counter report. Toastmaster Alok Sinha used at least 3 now, the word nows, at a place which could have been avoided. Toastmaster Satvik used 2 words all right now together, which could have been avoided. And he also used 1 repetitive phrase by this time. Toastmaster Smita used 2 R's, 1 repetitive phrase, that is I will, and 2 short pauses. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Nitesh, for your feedback. Now I request the grammarian, Lokesh, to give his feedback, please.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Today, I learned a very important lesson in leadership. I gave word of the day as an arrow in your quiver. I also showed you how to use it, but I failed to encourage all the prepared speakers to use that word. So none of the 3 prepared speakers have used the word of the day today. However, the evaluators, Melvin has used it once, TJ as a keynote speaker has used it twice, and Godfrey has used it once, and our general evaluator, Mr. Bosco, has used it twice. Some of the good usage of the words conundrum by Alok, different strokes to different folks. Vijay has lots of things, go-getters. Then deadly hours make deadly days. All formulas of math were subset of his name. Plump like theta, slim like gamma. Pierces in the fabric of your life. Our bite is our message to the life. Some of the really great usage of the languages. There are some more usages, but I submit this as part of the report. I couldn't find anything that could have been improved. We had great speakers. We had great evaluators. Over to you, Mr. G.
Thank you very much, Lokesh, for that very crisp feedback on the grammarian. Now we will look at Vinay Kumar to tell us about the time usage.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Meeting started 6 minutes late. All the prepared speech were completed on time. Everybody used the utmost of the time, used 95% of the time. I'm sorry, already we are 22 minutes late by the time we're ending the meeting. So I would just want to end it here.
Thank you very much for your feedback. Thank you, tag team. Fellow Toastmasters, the link for the performance of the day, the code is 2606. Kindly send it across to, I think Ayappa is handling it. Ayappa, I hope you have sent the link to the club members.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the meantime, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests, many who are here for the first time, many who have come from different parts of the country and the world, I have a small message to my club, a member since July 1997. It was a great journey from the time I joined. The learnings were immense. The type of evaluations we used to get was actually scary. We were asked to repeat your speech. In fact, even when I did my CC, I was asked to repeat my speech. That was the intense type of evaluation that were given. And when you completed a project or finished a particular project on the manual, the evaluator would write on your manual, you are promoted to the next project. That was the type of learning we had in those days. Sadly, it has been diluted to a very large extent. And I would urge every new Toastmaster, young Toastmaster to look at using these projects not just to complete the project, but to get some learning out of it to take you to different levels. I've had great opportunities in this club as the secretary, as the vice president education, as the president of the club. The club sent me on to the district activities and it took me places. I would like to express my gratitude to Bangalore Toastmasters Club for all that I have achieved in Toastmasters and outside Toastmasters because I was a part of this club. I had some time back sent a letter to our President Deepika expressing that due to personal reasons, I will not be able to continue as a member of the Bangalore Toastmasters Club, more because of distances and logistics. It is a painful parting for me from a club that made me what I am. But my parting message to all you members, when an evaluation is given to you and something negative comes in the evaluation, take it in the right spirit. Don't take it negatively. It is only because of that we improve. If something negative comes to you in an evaluation, look at it as a scope for improvement. That is what we are all here for, not to just come here and deliver speeches. You've all just heard how DJ spoke. It has not come overnight. It has come with a lot of feedback, a lot of hard work, and a lot of vision. So this is what is my message to all of you. To many of my mentees, I'm so proud of you, so very proud of you, because you have accepted everything that I have given you as a mentor and you went on to shine. Even today, I'm so proud of how Smita spoke. You are all people, I'm talking about my mentees, you are all people who made that, desire in me to be a stronger mentor. As I leave the stage, I have only one big thank you to Bangalore Toastmasters Club for all that I received. Mr. Toastmaster Vijay Anand.
Thank you, Toastmaster John Bosco EVM. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Bosco for a wonderful session and his guidance and his emotional moments over here. Thank you so much, Bosco. Before I sign off, I started my Tiomuri address saying that every beginning does make us feel uncomfortable. And I urge each one of you to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And you'll be amazed what you can achieve, how you can get along with people, and how beautiful life will be. On this note, I hand it back to the President, Toastmaster Deepika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vijayanand. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give our fabulous TOD and all the role takers and speakers a huge round of applause? Before we move on to the awards, I want to thank each of you who joined in for this meeting. We had guests from all across the globe, and you all made our meeting even more special. A special shout out to Godfrey sir for being there to help us throughout this term whenever we needed it, including today. So thank you, sir. Even though you are not a member, you have always been there for us and still a very integral part of our Bangalore Toastmasters Club. A heartfelt thank you to you, DJ. True to your name, you brought light to our meeting and have enriched us with your words. When I asked DJ to be a part of our meeting today, without batting an eyelid, he said, Deepika, it's your last meeting. I will be there to witness your last meeting as a president. And that made me feel so happy. Thank you so much, DJ. All of us are going to go back here today richer and wiser after listening to you. Speaking of last meetings, as DTM Bosco just mentioned, he's been someone who's been with our club from its early days, and it's his last meeting with us as a member. Bosco sir, member or not, you will always be near to our hearts, and know that you are still going to be an integral part of all our online meetings. We will truly miss you, and on behalf of all the members, I want to thank you for everything that you have done for the club and for each of us as members. Can we all unmute and just give him a huge round of applause, please?
Yeah, Bosco.
I would would like to congratulate all our members who have achieved laurels this past week. Toastmaster Alan for completing his CL, Shaji for completing his CC, Ankit his ACB, Varsha and Lokesh for completing their paths, and them along with Rahil for achieving their triple crowns. And today Smita for her ACB and Satvik for his CC. Ayappa, because club coaching has become a select distinguished club. Today, and ladies and gentlemen, all these accomplishments are just what happened in the last 5 days. So huge round of applause to all our club members. I also have another bit of good news. We have won the Super Club Award and the Golden Gavel Award. We had to meet 6 out of 7 criteria to win this, and I am happy to say that as a club, we have achieved all 7 criteria in this one term. We will be given this award at the upcoming PLI program in July. I will quickly move on to the awards for today. The best, the best role taker for today's meeting goes to our TOD, Toastmaster Vijayanand.
Yay.
The best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Somashekar. And the best speaker goes to somebody who was supposed to deliver this speech of his in December 2018. And for some reason, he did not. When I became president, I told him that my sole aim, one of my main aims this term is to make sure that he finishes this milestone speech of his. And I am so glad that in my last meeting, I finally accomplished it. The fact that he stood in his hotel room and delivered this speech today made me so happy. Ladies and gentlemen, our best speaker for today, the latest competent communicator in the house, Toastmaster Satvik Shetty.
Yay, Satvik from UK.
Yes, from UK. I have this very special pin with me. I'm not sure if all of you can see it. Is this visible?
Yes, glittering.
This one, yeah. So this pin was given to me sometime back by my mentor, Melvin. And today I want to give this to someone special. Someone who has been a rock for this past 6 months. Someone who has gone above and beyond their duties as a committee member. Someone who has been my backbone and has ensured that I have never even had to worry even 0.1% if everything was in order. And most importantly, someone who has grown tremendously over the last 6 months as a leader and a speaker. And in my opinion, one of the finest sergeant at arms I have seen in our club, Shrijit, this pin is for you. And I will give this to you when I see you next in Bangalore.
Thank you.
Can we just give him a big round of applause for being the support system that he's been for all of us throughout. That I come to the end of my final address to you as president in our official club meeting. Well, as they say, all good things must come to an end to make way for even better things. And I have had the most wonderful time serving each of you. And I hope that I have done my part in some small way to help you in your journey as Toastmasters. I have a lot more to say, but I am reserving that for the installation ceremony, 28th June, 6 p.m. onwards, our first ever online installation. Be there for a fun-filled and exciting evening. With that, I now declare meeting 1223 closed. And it's me, Deepika Das Pereira, signing off one final time. Good night, God bless, and have a wonderful weekend ahead.
3 cheers to the committee. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip hooray.
Hip hip hooray. Awesome. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Good night, everyone.